night with that guy overdosing, and it's just like, that could have been me, and it doesn't seem like it could have been me, you know? It's just, I can't connect the two. And like, I see why the courts do how they do it, you know? Like, at first it was like I was fighting. They're out to get me. They want me to do all this stuff that I just can't possibly do. And then all of a sudden, you know, at this point, I have a week left in the court system, and it's like, my mom's like, well, just be careful. And I'm like, you know, it's not how it was 2 years ago, you know? It's, now this is routine. This is how I live my life. I wake up in the morning and I do what I do. There's no thoughts of using any kind of drug. There's no thoughts of going back out. Like, I look at my children and what that would do to them at this point. I mean, the damage from before is one thing, but now we have this bond that is unbelievable. If I were to go back out, that would destroy them for life. I mean,
Definitely.
destroy them. That would change their personality. You know, and it's like,
Just think about it that way.
I
Yes.
am so blessed to be able to be a part of my kid's life. I mean, I was looking at the statistics the other day, and it was something like under 5% of the families that go through family court get reunited, especially when drugs are involved. You know, and it's like,
Yeah, but you were in
I
that
am there.
predicament.
I
you know?
was, you know.
You had to get your kids back.
I never saw myself getting my kids back, contemplating buying a house, buying a new car, doing stuff like that. Even exploring the options was not even a part of my reality 2 years ago, you know. And now it's all these things that I can do. Like, I feel like the possibilities are endless, you know. And I have the power of choice today. I can choose to keep doing what I'm doing, or I can choose to destroy my life again. You know, it's one extreme or the other, and it's all in my hands at this point. While I was using, I couldn't. And like, to have something run your life like that, consume your every thought, something as a mother to put a substance before your children, that's unfathomable to me, like, today. You know, it's just,
It's been about almost a year and a half now, right?
I'm over 18 months. I'm at 19
Yeah.
months now. Yeah.
Initially, you probably remember how confused you were after the detox and how you were not connected,
I
but
couldn't
gradually,
even-
day by day, how you really was healing.
After the detox, I don't think I left the house for 3 months because I didn't know who I was. Like, I had trouble even having a conversation because I didn't recognize my own voice. Like, it sounded weird to talk. And it was, I mean, that first 3 months was probably the most confusing point of my life because I was totally just didn't know how to live. And that one thing that, you know, was covering all those emotions up and all the trauma from the past and everything like that was suddenly taken away. And I didn't know how to cope. And it was like, you know, I still go to counseling once a week because it works. You know, I mean, going in there, and it went from going in there talking about how to be clean, then how to stay clean. And now it's just talking about everyday life. These are the problems I'm having with my kids. This is the problem I'm having at work. You know, like, it's not even about the drugs anymore. It's about just real life. And I never thought that I'd be able to live a real life.
So the combination of the two, psychotherapy
Oh,
and
yeah.
Vivitrol, definitely
Saved my
helped.
life.
No question.
Saved my life. Saved me, saved who I was, saved my soul, saved my kids.
And honestly, kept you, doctor, and I motivated because we saw improvement, little steps to start.
Yes.
And I also found a way to forgive some of the behavior early on because,
And I found a way to forgive myself.
yeah,
You know.
it was important.
And like the biggest form of, you know, the forgiveness and putting all that behind me is just being me now, which is,
Beautiful.
it is, it really is. It's beautiful, you know, my kids are growing up. You know, my son said the other day, well, when you do drugs, you die and then you turn into a monster. And I looked at him, I said, no, first you turn into a monster and then you die.
That's your child.
Yes.
Amazing.
My 3-year-old. Because
Wow.
I talked to him about it. You know, but nobody talked to me about that when I was younger. Nobody talked to me about the horror of drugs. Nobody talked to me about any of that stuff. I didn't know. Like, you know, and I mean, you go through DARE in 5th grade and they teach you that people give you free drugs, which isn't true, you know, and that's really the only thing I ever remembered from that was the video of the guy walking up to him like, here you go, take this. It's like, that's not true. People don't give you that for free. And, you know, I learned all that on my own. And I had to lose everything, every material thing, my soul, my personality, who I was. I had to lose it all to learn what drugs do to you. And I don't want my kids to have to go through that.
Beautiful.
I want them to know what this does to people. I want them to know you don't have a dad right now because he couldn't find recovery. It was the drugs. And that's what I always tell my daughter, because she understands, she gets it. I said, you know what, it's not his heart that was bad. He was a good dad and he was a good person. But when you put drugs in the mix, that takes all that away. You're not yourself anymore. You know, I mean, heroin claims not just your life, but everybody else around you suffers. And I don't know who suffers more, you know, you or everybody around you. Because I've seen what I put my family through, what I've put him through, what I put my kids through. And it's just, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. Loving an addict is so much harder than being an addict. And, you know, and that's how it was the first year of me being clean, trying to get their dad to see the light. And it's heartbreaking to know where I've been and where I'm at now and where he could have been, you know, and he couldn't get it.